Good morning. Welcome to Walking Boxing. It is Tuesday, October 21st, 2025. And big night again last night on Talking Boxing. Lots of comments, lots of back and forth, which I always love. And of course, numbers are always really good. So again, appreciate everyone that tunes in every Monday night. I'll get to a couple of topics in a second. But firstly, on this day, let's go back to, what was it? I think it was 1953, if I can remember. Where is it? 1953 at Madison Square Garden. Carl Bobo Olsen defeated Randy Turpin over 15 rounds for the world middleweight title. So that was 1953. Let me just get this little bugger. He likes to... Come here, buddy. Yeah, good boy. The dog's wanting to get out and have a crack at Neil. Anyway, he just gives them nothing. All right, so last night on Talking Boxing, hopefully you can hear me over these dogs. Come on, mate, we'll get past these buggers. Look, it was a little bit of everything. Of course, we got this week with Fabio Wardley up against Joseph Parker. A little bit of talk about what's happening with Tim Tszyu. No news there, actually, at the moment. I'm sure it's imminent, as is the Nikita Tszyu and Michael Zarafa announcement. I think hopefully it'll be this week. I think worst case it'll be next week. I think they'll get it done. What are we about? I think they're looking at December, so it's no big rush. It's almost, we'll probably give it a 7-week lead in, I suppose, which is probably about right. So I think they're in no rush, especially with what's happened with Nikita. I think I said last week, actually, that the odds are they'll give it another week to see how Nikita pulls up, and then they'll announce it. So we'll see. But the main topic of conversation that came up was actually Floyd Mayweather. Yes, he's still polarising fans, 8 years after his last fight. And which always comes up. You have certain fighters that are always in the gun, I suppose, whether it be Floyd Mayweather. Mike Tyson usually cops it as well. They're probably the two main ones. About the resume with Floyd, it was 50-50 actually. And look, I was on the pro Floyd side. Now the main argument was that I think to put it the best, it was from the people that were against him, was that his resume was carefully selected. Now, I know this is only a one-way argument here. No one's actually coming back at me, but I'll just give you my thoughts. I've said numerous times. Look, I understand that the perception out there with Floyd is that he selected opponents at the right times and the right weight and all that sort of stuff. But look, one thing you cannot dispute is his record, 50-0. Now, the Conor McGregor fight, that's the one asterisk. I mean, he 100%, I was going to say cherry-picked Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor wanted the fight. The fans lapped it up. I mean, the second biggest pay-per-view event of all time. Just put that in perspective, of all time. A crossover fight between Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. Just crazy. But I think he just played the UFC public like a fiddle. I said last night, I don't think the boxing fans really ate that fight up. I think it was 90% more for UFC fans and 10% for boxing fans, but they made it the number 2 pay-per-view of all time. But that aside, look, this is a guy who's won 49 other fights, just literally cleaned out division after division, and retired undefeated, with close to $1 billion in earnings. I mean, I don't know how you cannot have admiration for him. And I think the big thing more than anything was that people seem to have a dislike for him as a person, so they break down his record and what he's done. Now, I'll admit I'm not a massive Floyd Mayweather fan. Always like to see him fight. Went to see him fight a few times in Vegas, but not a big fan as a fighter or a person. But geez, you cannot just deny that, what he's done in the sport. I mean, as I said, cleaned out all these divisions, won just so many world titles, all the earnings. As a fighter and a businessman, I mean, I've just got total respect for him. And I don't think how much you dislike the guy and dislike the way he fought, whatever it might be. I just don't know how you can't give him his respect and just say that he is one of the greatest fighters of all time. I've got him probably top 5. And I know a lot of people will debate that. Everyone has their own criteria. I'm not really worried about the pound for pound thing, even though I've got him in my top 5 of all time. I think that firstly come up, it was a question about who would win out of Mayweather and Leonard. I got no idea, by the way, what a fight that would have been, but that's a different thing. We got onto this conversation about his standing, and as I said, I think he's top 5, but I just don't think you can look at his record and what he's done. You could probably criticise him a little bit and maybe say, well, you should have fought Pacquiao 5 years earlier. I don't think would have made any difference whatsoever. I think that, I think it was Pacquiao, Mayweather's older than Pacquiao, by the way. So I don't know where that argument comes from. Yes, the fight should have been 5 years earlier, but I mean, come on, it was so one-sided. I don't think it would have mattered when they fought. Mayweather was winning that fight. The De La Hoyas and all those fights. I mean, you got to remember, Mayweather came up in weight. De La Hoya was an established welterweight and had fought at middleweight, and Floyd Mayweather coming up to fight him. So I don't know what the problem is there. And it's probably more at 147 that these arguments probably come up, that he didn't fight Margarito. Well, Margarito, geez, big deal. I mean, I think he's only an average fighter anyway, Margarito. I think the way he was smashed by Shane Mosey, probably would have thought that, and Pacquiao, that Mayweather would have done the same thing anyway. At the lower weights, I just don't think you can dispute that he fought anyone and everyone and beat them. So anyway, we can go around in circles. I just think, take the dislike. This is my argument last night. Take the dislike of the guy away, and look at it for what he's done. Go through, I think it's 21 Hall of Famers that he's beaten. I think that's the case, or 21 former world champions, or whatever. There's a lot of names in there to have a look at. So I just think he gets scrutinised a lot more than others, and I just think his record's impeccable. And I'll repeat, I don't think much of the guy as a person, and I didn't really enjoy the way he fought, but geez, what a master. What a master. And I think that a lot of fans are just pissed that they gave over a lot of money to watch him either win or lose, and he's turned out the way he has, and with not a care in the world, probably not giving a shit what we all think about him anyway, cruising the world in his private jet. The only criticism I did have of him, by the way, that I really 100% agree with, is the Mayweather clause, I suppose, or the complex in boxing today, that this perception that you have to have an undefeated record or else you don't matter. And if you lose a fight, that's it, you may as well retire. And I did compare it to UFC, where in UFC, they don't really give a shit about records in UFC. It's all just about the best fighting the best and putting up a great performance. And that's the way you endear yourself to the fans. And Floyd has created that perception that, as I said, unless you have an undefeated record, that you may as well not bother. And if you lose a fight, it's all over. And I think we've shown. I mean, you've even got Joseph Parker this weekend fighting Fabio Wardley. I mean, geez, 3 or 4 years ago he was finished when he lost to Joe Joyce, and he went again, and now he's back in the good graces of the fans. He's going to, if he wins this week, no doubt get a shot at Alexander Usyk next. And happy days. So I think it's a good way of respecting someone that's rebuilt the career. So, and then even in the amateurs these days, I see it. I see some amateur boxers here, and they'll lose a fight, and it's like, it's the end of the world. Well, if you are an amateur, but just a little bit of advice from me: do not give a shit about records in amateurs. Throw it away. No one cares about amateur records. No one could give a shit unless you're a Lomachenko or someone like that, or a Mark Breland, or whoever only lost one fight in your whole career. That's probably a little bit different. But you'll find most of the great world champions in their amateur careers lost multiple fights, a lot of fights. Records don't matter in amateurs unless, not even records matter. Results are what matter at the right time. Whether it be a qualifying event for a tournament, or obviously a gold medal fight or whatever, of course that matters, but records don't. They really don't. It's like, I suppose, like a tennis player. No one really gives a shit about what their records are, and they play probably 100 matches a year. No one cares. It's about winning at the right time, and that's what the amateurs is like. But in the pros, I think we're just starting to come out of it. I think the Turkey Al Sheikh model, it's probably one good thing that he has done, he has taken away the record factor and just matches the best available fighters with other best available fighters. So so let's see. But that's probably the only blight on Floyd Mayweather's career that I could probably find. But anyway, we've spent too much time talking about Floyd Mayweather. What's going on in the Aussie scene? Well, he come on, Neil, come back here, buddy. Alex Winwood, he's back, which is really good to see. He is fighting now. I did have this somewhere. Saw it last night. It is the World Youth title. He's fighting, if I can find it here, Patapi Campton. Now, I don't really know anything about Patapi Campton. You'll probably find most of Alex Winwood's opponents at this weight Thais or Filipinos or something like that. Not a lot of fighters around at this weight at is it minimum weight? I think it is. But he's fighting on the 29th of November at the Mantra in Surfers Paradise. So really happy for Alex Winwood to be back. So that's, if you're up that way, the Mantra in Surfers Paradise, 29th of November. So go and support Alex. He's a good young guy, great young talent, and I'm sure he'll do some big things in the sport as well. And as I said, great to see him back. All right, now the TKO boxing I covered yesterday. We have had a little bit of pushback, which is fantastic. It is through the, where did I see it? If it'll come up here. Of course it won't. Can you believe that? Look at that, my page has just gone blank. I think I saw it on another page. Hang on a sec. Geez, fair income. We're doing well today. All right, well anyway, I'll just wing it here. I just don't like to misquote what was said. Hang on, let's see if it, oh, no. I've lost it again. All right, well what it was basically saying is there is another organisation, and no, actually I know what I'll do. Just hang on a sec. I've got my Surfshark on. I reckon that's what's stopping it. Let's have a look. Yes, that's what it is. I've got Surfshark. It's a VPN protector, whatever it is, and sometimes it can block sites. So we all know the California State Athletic Commission voted to repeal the act. Well, the Association of Professional Boxing Commissions has stepped forward and opposed it, which is fantastic. So the quote here is, it's clear that the members as well as the board of the APBC are unified in their objection to this abomination of an act that literally will reverse all the good the original Muhammad Ali Boxing Reform Act has done for the protection of the boxers from unscrupulous managers and promoters, said the APBC president, Albert Lowe. One more thing here, the original Professional Boxing Safety Act of 1996 and the later Muhammad Ali Boxing Reform Act of 2000 were specifically written to prevent organisations like the TKO Boxing Group from having absolute control to ensure boxers are protected from the very conflicts of interest the latest TKO amendments risk bringing back. So really good to see that we have a pretty powerful organisation stepping up and saying, no, not on our watch. This is not going to happen. And I really welcome it, because I said last night on the show that the only people that are for the act or the change of the act, or whatever it might be, the abolition, I think you'll call it, of the last act, is Dana White and his mates at TKO. I haven't seen one boxer come out and support it, and they're the ones. I'll rephrase. So I haven't heard one boxer come out and say they would like the Ali Act changed or broken down or rubbed out, whatever it might be. So, and they're the ones that are affected by this act, and no one's come out and said, yes, it needs to be changed. The promoters, who have the most to gain out of changing the act, have also said, no, we don't want this change. It protects the boxers, and that's what we want. The only person or group that has come out and said we want it changed is Dana White and TKO, who surprisingly, no surprises, run the UFC, where that is exactly the case, where they control the fighters, they have full control of their purses and their fights and sponsorship and all that sort of stuff, and they're the ones that want to change it. So I think all the board, if this doesn't get through, by the way, if they don't succeed in changing the Ali Act, I would think that all the board members of the California State Athletic Commission should resign or be booted out. because they're the ones that have voted unanimously to change the act. And they are evil in my books, I think. Again, I haven't heard anyone come out and support changing the act. The fighters that it affects the most have supported keeping it the way it is. The promoters that are in place have supported keeping it in. So I'm really glad that this APBC has pushed back. And as I said, if it doesn't get through the board members of the California State Athletic Commission, it should be either booted or resign. Either way, they should be gone. That's the way business rolls these days, and that's the way it should be. Get rid of the ones that fail. All right, what else is going on? I did actually see there's on BoxRec, there's going to be a change to BoxRec where, well, they're going to add a new category on BoxRec, and it's called the hybrid boxing division. Now, what it is, it's designed for the Jake Pauls and Tank Davises of the world. So these crossover fights, so instead of, like, you say you've got some, or both of these guys are, well, at least one of them's a proper boxer, the other one's a wannabe boxer, but either way, they are legitimate professional boxers. So they've got their records on BoxRec. Well, when you have fights like this Davis and Jake Paul fight, it will be in a separate category. It won't go on their normal records. There will be a hybrid record. So I don't know, I think if you click on the boxes now, they have, I think you can look at their amateur records as well, as much as you can. A little bit of the records. There will be a separate tab, I suppose, that brings up their hybrid boxing record as well. So it's a new addition to BoxRec. It's quite ridiculous. I don't know why it should be recorded anywhere, but that's what they're going to do, the hybrid boxing category. So this fight, even though with Tank and Jake, it's going to be an exhibition, there will be a result. So it won't affect either one's professional record, but it'll be noted on the hybrid boxing category page that whoever's won the fight and whoever's lost the fight. So just like you would with an amateur fight. Pretty bizarre, but even BoxRec are changing the way they go about things and just bending to the current state of the boxing world where anything goes. And I'm sure there'll be probably already is a bare knuckle one and all the rest of it as well. So who knows what's next coming in the boxing world. It's just blows my mind. All right, now I was also asked last night, I'm not going to do it now because we need a bit more time. Actually, I'll list the fights. I was asked last night who would win 5x5 of the best fighters from the 90s, the heavyweights this is, and the best heavyweights of today. I'll list the fights. I might go into a little bit more tomorrow because I'm sort of running out of time. Well, maybe I've got time. Just around the corner from where I've got to go to home anyway. So the criteria was the best heavyweights from the 90s against the best heavyweights of today. Now, to represent the 90s, I've got Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, Riddick Bowe, and George Foreman. For today's heavyweights, I've got Alexander Usyk, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, Daniel Dubois, and Deontay Wilder. Now, I know they're probably not the best, especially Wilder, the best heavyweights out there at the moment, but they're the biggest names. So this is probably just the pick five. So I've matched them up, and I'll go through them. All right. So in no particular order, I've just tried to get the best fights, and you guys can come back with me some better matchups. But I've got Mike Tyson versus Anthony Joshua. I'm going to go for Iron Mike to knock Joshua out in about 5 or 6 rounds. Evander Holyfield and Alexander Usyk. This is probably the best one of the mix, if you ask me. This would have been, I think I've actually covered this fight before for Dream Fights at Cruiserweight, I think it was. So who would win, Holyfield or Usyk? I'm backing Evander Holyfield. I think Evander Holyfield has the work rate and the speed and the foot movement and everything that the big heavyweights that Usyk has fought haven't had. And I think that Evander Holyfield would just outwork Alexander Usyk. I don't think Usyk would be able to have the freedom that he has now against those big boys. Holyfield would, I think, cut him off, make him work, and break Usyk down and win a 12-round decision. And the next one was Lennox Lewis, Tyson Fury, the all-English super fight. I think Lennox Lewis wins this fight. I think he Decisions, Fury. I think he dominates Tyson Fury, actually. I think he outworks him, outpunches him, everything. Fury. And I think Lewis wins a 12-round decision. The next one was Riddick Bowe and Daniel Dubois. I'm backing Riddick Bowe to probably knock Dubois out in 7 or 8 rounds. A motivated Bowe, that is. I think Dubois has been proven to be pretty mechanical, pretty robot-like, so I'm backing Bowe to knock Dubois out. And Foreman and Wilder, pretty one-way traffic for me. I was trying to find the best fight for Wilder, to be honest, because I think the others would have all cleaned him up. But George Foreman knocks Wilder out in about 2 or 3 rounds. I think I see a repeat of the Jerry Cooney fight, if I'm being honest, with George Foreman and Deontay Wilder. I don't think Wilder could hurt Foreman. You see the amount of punches that were bounced off Foreman's head during his career. No one could hurt him. I know Ali stopped him, but it was more so exhaustion and that nice little right hand that nailed him. But as the later version of Foreman, a big, strong guy who you just never saw hurt. So I think he would knock Wilder out Jerry Cooney style. So that's a 5-0 swing to the 90s heavyweights. It's a clean sweep, just like the Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn one was. So I've got Tyson beating Joshua, Holyfield beating Usyk, Lewis beating Fury, Bowe beating Dubois, and Foreman beating Wilder. Give me your thoughts anyway, but that's what I think anyway. And some other fights that you might want to see. We might do some other divisions as well. They're a really good idea, I thought, a 5x5 with generations against each other. I think it's great. Geez, the welterweights would be pretty good at some stage, wouldn't it? De La Hoyas and Mayweathers and Pacquiao's and all that of the 90s, up against maybe, could be the 80s even. Leonard, Duran, Curry. I mean, some very good fighters there. So we'll have a look at it anyway. We've got some ideas, throw them at me, but I thought that was a good idea last night to do the heavyweight. So guys, that's going to do it for today. Hope you have an awesome Tuesday. We'll catch you tomorrow.